आज मैं भी मुस्लिम पर, मैं मरियम और सभी का अपनी हिंदुस्तानियत और अपनी मुसलमानियत के साथ साथ एक और पहलू भी नापेंगे और मापेंगे, और वो पहलू है इंसानियत का। जैसा कि हमने लास्ट एपिसोड में डिस्कस किया था, मुहर्रम इज़ अ पीरियड जिसमें हमने काफ़ी नए तरीके से अपना एसोसिएशन विद दिस हिस्टोरिकल इवेंट दैट हैपेंड इन करबला एक बार फिर से रीइस्टैब्लिश किया। हमने समझा कि फॉर अ कैरेक्टर लाइक ज़ैनब देयर इज़ सो मच दैट वी कैन स्टिल लर्न फ्रॉम। हमने समझा कि करबला की जो जंग थी या करबला के जो इवेंट्स थे, दे स्टिल होल्ड रेलेवेंस इन टुडेज़ डे एंड एज. They still inspire us to speak truth to power. They still tell us on how to stand against injustice and how to believe in the power of righteousness and compassion and courage. अब क्योंकि मुहर्रम ख़त्म हो रहा है कुछ दिनों में, हमने अपना जो नेक्स्ट एपिसोड है उसका नाम रखा है हैप्पी मुहर्रम। और वो क्यों है वो हम आपको बाद में बताएंगे, लेकिन मुहर्रम के ज़रिए एक और पहलू है जो उभर के आया एज सबिका एंड आई वर डिस्कसिंग, और वो पहलू है सॉलिडारिटी का। वो पहलू है अगर किसी और के अगेंस्ट इनजस्टिस हो रहा है तो उसके साथ कैसे खड़ा होने का, ताकि आप उस तरीके के इनजस्टिस को रोक सकें। इन अदर वर्ड्स, सॉलिडारिटी और बीइंग अ स्ट्रॉन्गर एलाई। और एलाईशिप के ऊपर आज हमारा एपिसोड हैप्पी मुहर्रम आप सबके लिए। तो सभी का, अगर मैं तुमसे कहूँ हैप्पी मुहर्रम तो तुम्हारे जहन में क्या आता है?
एक्चुअली हैप्पी मुहर्रम कोई भी शिया मुस्लिम होगा, या आई वुड से एनीवे कोई भी मुस्लिम होगा अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड, आई एम श्योर इट पुट्स देम इन अ बिट ऑफ अ स्पॉट। बट टू बी ऑनेस्ट, मेरा एक बहुत ही इंडिपेंडेंट इक्वेशन है विद दीज टू वर्ड्स पुट टुगेदर, क्योंकि मैं एक फ़िल्म बनाना चाहती थी। एक्चुअली व्हेन आई वाज एट NIT, दिस वाज एन आइडिया फॉर अ डॉक्यूमेंट्री फिल्म, एंड दैट फिल्म हैजंट still been made. I did start shooting for it though. Who knew that my episode along with you on Main Bhi Muslim would be called Happy Muharram. Life is really coming full circle for me. खैर, तो मैंने ये ज़रूर सोचा था कि ये जब फिल्म बनेगी तो मुझे चप्पलें पड़ेंगी। अब पता नहीं इस पॉडकास्ट को सुन के चप्पलें पड़ेंगी या नहीं, बट मैं पूरी कोशिश करूँगी कि उन चप्पलों से मैं अपने आप को बचा लूँ। खैर, सो हैप्पी मुहर्रम इज़ एन ऑक्सीमोरॉन फॉर मी, बिकॉज मुहर्रम ऑफ कोर्स अपने आप में एक ग्रीविंग, एक मोर्निंग का पीरियड रहा है। लेकिन बचपन में जब हम लखनऊ जाते थे गर्मी की छुट्टियों में, तो जाते ही जाते थे, और कई बार मुहर्रम के लिए, स्पेशली मुहर्रम के लिए ही जाते थे। तो ऑफ कोर्स एज अपोज टू दिल्ली का मुहर्रम, लखनऊ का मुहर्रम तो मतलब पूरे कंट्री में फेमस है। तो एज अ किड मुझे नहीं समझ में आता था कि मतलब ऐसा क्या है कि शोक बनाना है, क्योंकि लोग साथ आ रहे हैं। आप मतलब जो सारे एलिमेंट्स होते हैं ना पार्टी के या फेस्टिवल के, वो सारे एलिमेंट्स हुआ करते थे कि पीपल आर कमिंग टुगेदर, देयर इज़ अ ड्रेस कोड, उसके बाद देर आर म्यूजिकल रिदमिक एलिमेंट्स। तो मेरे लिए तो इट वॉज लाइक अ पार्टी ओनली। सो आई डिड अंडरस्टैंड कि जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर नौहे की बात की जाए, क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि एज समवन who's a musician, both you and I, being musicians in our own capacities, have borrowed a lot from the community singing traditions.
Right.
And of course, बचपन से हमें खूब जूते चप्पल पड़े हैं इसी बात पे कि सिंगिंग नहीं है वो, नौहा गाया नहीं जाता है, नौहा पढ़ा जाता है। अब खैर, नौहे से ही शुरुआत की गई थी 6th एपिसोड की मरियम की आवाज़ में। तो नौहा ये जो दूसरा एपिसोड है मुहर्रम को डेडिकेटेड, उसमें भी फीचर कर रहा है इन अ सिग्निफिकेंट वे, वेयर आई थिंक I would say that, I mean, of course, this is a massive reduction, but for me, at least, If there's one part of Muharram that I have always looked forward to, it's the Nohe. क्योंकि हर साल वो मौका मिलता था अपनी आवाज़ को टेस्ट करने का और समझने का कि कहाँ पहुँचे हैं हम इन द अदाकारी, आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज़ द वर्ड, बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स this isn't just about rhythm. It's not just about something which is a musical element. It is a story first and foremost that is being told
Right. Yeah.
through musical elements and through the bodily instrumentation, like be it आप अपनी छाती पीट रहे हैं या जो बैठ के मातम होता है जिसमें आप अपने थाइज पे रिदम का एलिमेंट क्रिएट करते हैं. सो लॉन्ग स्टोरी शॉर्ट, आई वुड से दैट फॉर मी एज अ किड, as my first point of contact with Muharram, it was a happy affair. Of course, over the years, it changed, and I found myself feeling very defensive अगर मुझे किसी ने हैप्पी मुहर्रम कोट एंड कोट विश कर दिया, क्योंकि एक तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मैं इतनी रिलीजियसली इंक्लाइंड ही नहीं थी कि मैं ढंग से समझूं और समझाने लायक अपने आप को समझूं. लेकिन उसके बावजूद उस पोजीशन में मैं हमेशा अपने आप को पाती थी जहाँ पे मुझे समझाना पड़ता था कि क्यों हैप्पी मुहर्रम नहीं बोलते, हैप्पी मुहर्रम गलत क्यों है. सो आई वुड नाउ टर्न द क्वेश्चन बैक एट यू. हैप्पी मुहर्रम जब तुम सुनती हो तो क्या होता है?
Actually, before I answer that question, तुमने जो बताया कि as a kid, you know, what your connotations with Muharram were. There is a story that a lot of people in my family know, and they always share जब Muharram होता है, which is quite embarrassing to be honest, but nonetheless, that when I was probably 3 years old or something, and I had just started walking, and I had kind of found my way to the home and understood what walking meant. I had also started like dancing and getting a lot of strength in my legs or whatever. And Muharram के time पे जब there is this one final step in the Nohe जब मातम होता है, which is like very resounding and everyone's just like in that energy. And the moment Muharram time पे मातम शुरू होता था, I would start dancing. And I would dance in the Imambara, and I would just like to dance, like jumping up and down, and it's a lot of adults would start like smiling and because there was this kid who was rejoicing into like a way of and I remember somebody telling me this. I think one of the people in my grandparent generation that kabhi डांट भी पड़ गई कि नहीं ऐसा नहीं करते हैं. So one of the elders in the family would say कि उसको करने दो वो जो कर रही है, because that is her way of understanding and commemorating Husainiyat. And तुमने जब ये बात कही ना कि there is this sense of coming together and there is a sense of your first point of contact with Muharram as a memory is still latched on to the elements of music and lyrics. I think for me, I understood it from the point of that one episode which a lot of people told again and again, कि एक बच्चा खुश हो रहा है because there is some element that is bringing her a sense of energy and joy. And obviously I didn't do that as I gained more consciousness about what Muharram means. But it brings, I'm glad you noted that point about what our first point of contact with any cause of coming together can be, and you have highlighted some important elements. Okay, you bring people together. There is community, community building. There is community food. There is gathering. So it is a coming together of sorts, which usually people have at times when there is something to celebrate. However, I'm not really discounting that. Obviously, there are times when people come together in pain and in hardship. And this brings me to the second part of your question, that when someone said Happy Muharram to me as I grew up, I felt exactly like you, that I'm supposed to be answerable now. क्योंकि ये कोई दिवस नहीं है जो हम मना रहे हैं and we are celebrating. And I felt I was now holding this narrative जो मुझे समझाना पड़ेगा कि भाई हम नहीं मनाते हैं, हम खुशी नहीं मनाते हैं, हम गम मनाते हैं. But the moment someone kind of approached me with that element of curiosity of what Muharram would mean to me, and what even by the act of just saying Happy Muharram, I felt that is the next step to it probably will be turning that curiosity into an education. So the next time that person it comes across the term Muharram, they can educate someone else that what Muharram implies to different people.
इंटरेस्टिंग क्योंकि शायद आई थिंक द डिफरेंस बिटवीन आई एम गेसिंग द पीपल हु आर विशिंग यू हैप्पी मुहर्रम एंड द पीपल हु आर विशिंग मी हैप्पी मुहर्रम is also people in Singapore versus people in India. तो I just want to bring that in mostly because I think कि यहाँ पे तो मुझे थोड़ा वो carelessness ही feel होती है कि here is someone who is just sort of copy pasting this idea कि जब भी ज़िंदगी में छुट्टी मिली है किसी भी दिन पे ऑफिस से या स्कूल से या कॉलेज से, तो वो इसलिए मिली है क्योंकि कोई ना कोई सेलिब्रेशन है, कोई पर्व है, कोई दिवस तो आई थिंक मीन्स डे ओनली, बट आई मीन एसेंशियली there is someone's birthday or some religious or cultural festival. So I of course would feel a little like further minoritized because क्योंकि आपको normally चलते फिरते तो रियलाइजेशन होता नहीं है कि मैं शिया मुस्लिम हूँ. ये मैं हर वक्त लेके तो घूमती नहीं हूँ अपने जहन में. मैं तो भूल जाती हूँ ऑफ कोर्स कि मैं मुस्लिम भी हूँ या मैं औरत भी हूँ. मैं तो कर रही हूँ ना अपना जो भी दिन में मेरा काम चल रहा है. रैंडमली आके अगर किसी ने मुझे हैप्पी मुहर्रम विश कर दिया तो वो लाइक इट ब्रिंग्स अलाइव दैट memory of the fact that, oh wait, we're different. And that is a very difficult spot to operate from, especially when you're very young. मतलब अगर आप क्लास में इकलौते मुस्लिम हैं, और मेरे केस में तो वो हमेशा रहा, चाहे वो स्कूल में हो या कॉलेज में हो या मेरे पोस्ट ग्रेड के टाइम में भी हो. And not just that, like even in my job spaces, chances were that I'd be the only Muslim or definitely the only Shia, if not the only Muslim. तो मुहर्रम का जो वेट है वो आई फील लाइक शिया मुस्लिम वुड फील मोर than a Sunni might in terms of explaining the structures and कि ये क्या है and all of that. So anyway, without going into too much of that, what I basically wanted to come back to was, yes, irrespective of whether it's for mourning or whether it's for grieving, or it's out of that sense of there is strength in numbers and that need for solidarity that we're seeking. I think what took me back to my first association with Muharram was actually when I saw all of these kids in Shaheen Bagh. अब of course Shaheen Bagh का भी माहौल काफ़ी ग्रिम ही था. ऐसा तो है नहीं कि कोई celebration चल रहा था. It was a protest. It was, essentially a sit-in. But all of these women, the fact that they were sitting in with their children, which changed the nature of this protest from most other protests that I had been to, made me realize कि इन बच्चों के लिए तो ये एक फेस्टिवल ही होगा. Like, because of course you could only see them running around and being excited. I mean, of course इतने लोग साथ में देखने को जब भी मिलते हैं तो बच्चे तो हाई एनर्जी मोड में ही चले जाते हैं, या फिर हम मम्मा चिपकू मोड में चले जाते हैं. But either of the two, it is an acknowledgement of people gathering, right? And जब लोग साथ में आते हैं तो मतलब ऐसा तो है नहीं कि दिन रात सुबह शाम आप रोते ही रहेंगे. There is of course some degree of just going about life just as it is. Like एक रोज़मर्रा तो आएगा ही आएगा ना आपके उस प्रोसेस में. और अगर कोई भी लाइक मुहर्रम का महीना एक्सटेंड्स इनटू सफ़र का महीना, कोई भी चीज़ 2-2.5 महीने तक अगर चलेगी तो ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता कि उसमें खुशी के एलिमेंट्स ना हो. ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता कि आप मतलब हंसना भूल जाएं या स्माइल करना भूल जाएं. सो ऑफ कोर्स पीपल आर coming together to commemorate something, and I do not want to dilute the importance of that when I say that I will always remember my first memories of Muharram as happy memories. All I want to essentially say is चाहे वो मैं बचपन के पर्सपेक्टिव से देखूं या अब एक इमोशनली मैच्योर from the perspective of, let's say, someone who's been in therapy for the last 3 years देखूं, I would say everything in life is a pursuit of happiness. So even when I'm seeking the relief that comes from grieving, even if I'm seeking the relief that comes from, shedding tears and cleansing, that relief is also a form of happiness only,
Yeah.
right? So उस लिहाज से देखा जाए तो चाहे इस ज़रिए से या उस ज़रिए से, I think at least my life has always been a pursuit of happiness. So even Muharram, चाहे मैं बचपन के perspective से देखूँ या as an adult perspective से देखूँ, has had a happy association to it.
So I want to take you to the understanding of, if you had to explain Muharram in the practicality of it and what it, and I mean the elements of Muharram which you want to associate with, if you had to explain it to someone else in the context of any other congregation which is being held for that important a subject, and that person is not necessarily born in the same community and doesn't have an understanding of why so many people are coming together for something, how would you introduce them to a gathering that they are not parlay with, I think, from the first word go, like from the word go?
So since we've already mostly covered the more technical aspects of Muharram and what those religious sermons actually are about, I would much rather paint a picture of Muharram as a cultural sort of scenario, or let's just say from the eyes of that kid, because that's probably a good way to enter anything. So Muharram for me as a kid was this very long month, क्योंकि मुझे नहीं पता था कि सफ़र एक अलग महीना होता है जिसको मुहर्रम की तरह ऑब्ज़र्व किया जाता है. तो मेरे लिए एक सवाल हमेशा रहता था कि मुहर्रम ख़त्म क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. लाइक अगर ये महीना है तो ये 30 दिन में ख़त्म क्यों नहीं हो रहा है. सो वन इज़ दैट इट स्पैन्स ओवर 2.5 months. The other thing about Muharram is people have these representations of Karbala, जो कि एक तरह का इमाम बाड़ा होता है, like just to kind of commemorate कि this space is designated for all the religious activity that will happen in this month. उसके अलावा मतलब चाहे और लोगों को बाहर से बुलाया जाए या नहीं बुलाया जाए, एटलीस्ट जो पहले 10 दिन होते हैं मुहर्रम के महीने के, उन 10 दिनों में हर घर में नौहे एटलीस्ट पढ़े जाते हैं, मातम एटलीस्ट किया जाता है. तो लाइक चाहे वो सोज़ खानी हो या ना हो, सोज़ खानी से मेरा मतलब है essentially someone who is in the typical understanding of what the word sermon entails, sort of sharing not just the stories of Karbala, but also Islamic tenets, like information about the religion. So this also becomes that time of the year when community learning happens, like about the religion. So mostly these are the elements, and all of these sermons जो कि जो सोज़ खानी होती है, that is preceded and followed by more rhythmic elements. And like I said earlier, Noha is like definitely my favorite element of Muharram, क्योंकि उस वक्त I would get to at least briefly get my few minutes of fame or like center stage, so to say, because as a kid, of course, when you're given that kind of space to explore your voice, it also becomes like, I mean, at that point it might seem a little more frivolous, but over the years you begin to understand that those were definitely those points where adults were giving you agency to also understand your inner voice and find the confidence to find it. Because Ghoom Phir Ke, it brings me back to Zainab and how Zainab was basically speaking truth to power. So it's also sort of giving you that space to, through your physical voice, find your more metaphorical, metaphysical voice, or your so-called authentic inner voice.
Okay. Right. So, I mean, what I'm essentially trying to get to in this conversation is, if this is something as for example, because मैं Muharram का example इसलिए ले रही हूँ because it has so many overlapping elements with how people culturally in any part of the world come together over a cause that they stand for. And I'm talking about allyship also because this is one term that has now emerged a lot more strongly since the Black Lives Movement started earlier this year. And unfortunately, I feel it is a term that should have come like into people's minds much earlier. लेकिन allyship एक तरीके से वो जज्बा है, मैं कहूँगी, जहाँ पे अगर आप उस तरीके की कम्युनिटी में या उस तरह से यू हैव नॉट बीन ब्रॉट अप लाइक सभी का एलैबोरेटेड कि आपको पता हो कि इसमें कहाँ देयर आर एलिमेंट्स दैट यू कैन पार्टिसिपेट इन, बिकॉज यू आर कमिंग सभी फ्रॉम अ पॉइंट वे यू वर born into this community जहाँ तुम्हें पता है कि your center stage will come during Noha or your sense of community learning will happen during the sermons. लेकिन there are a lot of people जिनको ये सब नहीं समझ में आएगा, like they wouldn't know. तो अगर उनको you want to like bring into the fold of any kind of movement that you stand by and you want more people to stand by. So I think the first element for me to talk about would be how there are overlaps in the way that this issue or this cause doesn't just affect me, it affects everyone as a community together. You know, the very social fabric of our community is defined by issues like these. Muharram is a small example because till date I don't think so a lot of people talk about it in the contemporary sense. Now they have started, I feel, but nahi hoti hai us tarike se baat. The Black Lives Movement brought a lot of that discussion to mainstream media, that the Black Lives Movement is not about the blacks standing up for their community. It is about each one of us standing up for them, because we are not separate. We are not like sidelined because, I mean, this is not just about the white standing up. This is not just about like the Indian standing up. This is about everyone. And I also feel that when I'm saying Black Lives Movement, I'm talking about what's happening in India at this point with the entire understanding of how caste works in the country. You know, the Hathras episode that has happened, it should shake the very core of what we understand as a community and society altogether. Because we are still living in a society that is extremely prejudiced against certain communities, you know. So jab kisi, like, if as an upper caste Savarna male, female, you want to understand where you stand in allyship when it comes to Dalit lives. As a majoritarian Hindu, you want to understand where you stand as an ally with the Muslims. What are the lessons? What are the steps of being an ally that you and I should talk about? Like, it's an open question. Like, either you can give the first answer or I can. But I think we've already touched upon being curious. Like, firstly, being curious about what is it all about. Like, if someone is wishing me happy Muharram and I'm enlightening them, the next step is like, well, I'm glad that you took the time to understand, you know, what I told you, and there is a hope that this person is now turning into an ally. The second thing for me is just that once you are aware of there is something more than you understood as a diverse community, you recognize what the blind spots were, you know, and it is okay. Like, you and I also have tremendous blind spots, but अगर हम उस चीज़ को समझें कि यार we were actually like privileged enough to be immune to all of it, and no longer do we want to be in that, you know, covered, protected box. So you start expanding, you start like being more cautious of what you are saying, being more aware of what you are saying, checking on your privileges, and then translating that into a conversation that you're having with other people around you. So I think the other step to really being an ally is I genuinely feel like a rigorous form of unlearning and re-education. मैं गलत हूँ, I'm sorry, मैं गलत हूँ, अब मैं कैसे अपने आप को, you know, re-educate करूँ, और उस चीज़ से कैसे मैं किसी और को re-educate कर पाऊँ.
Actually, while you were talking about all of this, I was just constantly going back and forth for examples from my life of how, specifically with respect to Muharram, I have invited allyship. So I think that क्योंकि like I've already established, Noha was the most significant kind of thread keeping Muharram together for me. So more recently, there's a friend of mine who does a lot of house gigs and is an indie musician who has activated a lot of independent music scenes across the country, and in his experience has also experienced a lot of community singing, and also identified that as a part of the Indian culture itself. Like there is a lot of community singing happening in a bhajan kirtan, जहाँ पे अगर आप देखें तो उतना फोकस उस पर नहीं होता कि आपकी गायकी कैसी है. So he was someone who I definitely, because he was talking about community singing, he was someone I really wanted to bring to a majlis, and especially introduce to a matam. And my mother is someone who would almost always find हमारे यहाँ मतलब most लोगों के यहाँ something that I missed out when we were talking about what Muharram is as a cultural reality. हर किसी के घर पे more often than not एक दिन designated होता है कि let's say on this date every year Muharram के लिए आप जो है एक मजलिस करेंगे. तो majlis kind of roughly translates into a gathering. So majlis, in my understanding, there couldn't be a better way to kind of invite allyship than inviting a non-Muslim to a majlis, simply because आप ईद पे या आप किसी भी और इवेंट पे अगर एक मुसलमान के घर पहुंचते हैं तो आपको वो एजुकेशनल एलिमेंट नहीं मिलेगा जो कि एक मजलिस में होता है. सो यू एक्चुअली get involved beyond the cultural aspect. So so I would say that it's mostly about I mean, if let's say if I look at how I would invite allyship, it would probably be through you know, getting my musician friends over to just experience it as a you know, a rhythmic, very beautiful way of, again, protesting primarily. And I think like my mother's way of doing it would be just inviting people as friends. Like जिस तरह से तुमने मैंने भी भजन कीर्तन अटेंड किए हैं, तुमने मैंने भी you know all different forms of different like I mean, I don't know about you, but I've sat through Sunday mass. So it's just out of that sense of, okay, what happens here? And probably starting somewhere where you have, let's say, a more sensorial understanding of kya chal raha hai, where I've actually experienced it. Maybe because that's how my way of even getting into educating myself has always developed. Like, I'm not the kind of person who will pick up a book immediately. I'll be more likely to land up somewhere, speak to people, experience something, and then want to know a little more. So it doesn't matter whether you find yourself Googling immediately or buying books, or you find yourself in a rich conversation with someone, or you just find yourself in the thick of an experience where you live it, and then once it's a part of your lived experience, it automatically leads you to something more.
Actually, thank you so much for saying lived experience, because जब मैं allyship के ऊपर मैंने 2-3 चीज़ें I read when I mean in June I remember, and then eventually अब जब हम जिक्र कर रहे हैं तो मेरे जहन में आया कि एक चीज़ जो lived experience के साथ होती है कि it is not a one-off thing that you can forget. It cultivates you into becoming a changed person as you move on in life. And allyship is again, and I think it was Rekha Jha who just a couple of days ago, either she quoted someone or she was writing a piece on this, and she mentioned this bit that allyship is not a one-off thing. It is not that, oh, you hold a placard and you're like, I'm an ally. Once you declare yourself as an ally, now you are on a journey with the person and the community that you are standing with, and that defines you as an ally, you know. तो मेरे जहन में जब भी ये लफ्ज़ आया है, I have always thought of it as a way to really learn more, adopt more, and be genuinely responsible for the ways that change happens in the society and community I belong and I live in. That doesn't necessarily mean the community I come from, like I'm born in a Muslim community, so I should, you know, that. But any society that you become a part of, we are constantly moving. Thanks to globalization, we have we've lived in more cities than our parents have. We have, thanks to social media, we know more people than our parents did. तो उनकी जर्नीज, उनके एक्सपीरियंसेस से, there are so many people who have been vocally talking about allyship, and they're talking about allyship asking someone else to understand it. So like there are, I think MBM pe, not I think MBM pe we have been sharing handles of people who are talking about Dalit lives, who are talking about people who are just tremendously on the go, talking about how the caste system brings out who we are, like it builds the people we are today, and how do we dismantle caste, how do we abolish caste. So follow those people, follow those people on Instagram, learn bit by bit, and the more you learn from them, your journey as an ally will transform. And it's a constant evolution. Like मेरे लिए जब मैं ये देखती हूँ, like whether it's BLM, whether it is the Dalit Lives Matter movement, like it's a constant everyday learning classroom for me. When I'm opening up my Instagram channel, my Instagram page, मैं पढ़ रही हूँ जो वो कह रहे हैं, और फिर मैं समझ रही हूँ, और फिर मैं उसको अपने जहन में बिठा रही हूँ. And the next time I speak to someone, I will be like 1% more informed. So anyone,
which is exactly what brings me to, like, you use the word responsibility, that as an ally it's not a सेल्फी गिग कि आप आए, आपने जो है एक प्लकार्ड पकड़ा या आपने एक कैंडल जला दी एंड like it's over. Basically you can't be a tourist ally is what I would say. If you're an ally, there's some part of it that you will enjoy. There is some part of it that will bring you the joy of connecting to yourself eventually, because you have sort of identified with something that's happening with another community as a wrong that you have also suffered some manifestation of. I think it comes from a place of empathy. And ghoom phir ke, be it because you love reading, because you love a certain kind of presentation style. Like I said, if you're a musician, then you might enter Muharram for its rhythmic traditions. If you are
a researcher, you'll enter it for just scholastic reasons.
Exactly. But whatever the reasons will be, in the same way as even though Muharram is a time of grieving and mourning, I did, at least for myself, find like a way to make it happier. I'm sure that sense of responsibility can also be a happier sense of responsibility. It need not weigh you down. It needs to be something that comes from within, and it gives you that joy of being.
I think,
and not just one with someone else, but with elements of yourself, because you will find manifestations when you're willing to look at it, of how your life has panned out in pretty much every other life out there. But of course, only if you're willing to look at it.
I actually don't have anything else to add, because there's so much more to talk about it. Like I feel the very term allyship and the very meaning of understanding our role in this world we live in is constantly evolving. I was reading something very profound a couple of days ago, and the person I was reading, she mentioned the term generous listening. That if you are someone who's ready to listen, be a generous listener. Don't be prepared to speak up. Don't be prepared to give an answer. क्योंकि generous listening से तुमने जो बात कही about manifestation, it might not eliminate the differences one has, but it will build a ground for humanity. It will make you feel that there is so much more than just a community or just an identity that differentiates us. There is so much more that brings us together. And generous listening allows you to do that, because you're not waiting to give back something. You're just patiently listening. So, I mean, I really want to end on this note that Sabika and I are allies in so many different forms, with so many different issues and so many different communities, and both her and I have constantly re-understood what it means to be allies. So जब हमसे लोगों ने पूछा है how can we be of support, people have messaged us and people have written to us that what can we do. Just listen, just read, just be curious and be affirmative के छोटा सा चेंज है कि तुमने एक इंस्टाग्राम पोस्ट पे कुछ लिखा अबाउट दैट आई वांट टू री एजुकेट माई सेल्फ एंड आई वांट टू एजुकेट एवरी वन एल्स, दैट इज़ डेफिनेटली अ स्टार्ट, यू नो। और उससे कहाँ कहाँ यू कैन गो, कितने लोगों से यू कैन मीट, किस तरह की बातें यू कैन डू, you will completely understand it's your own journey that you make. Just like Sabika said, like तुम कहाँ से अपना वो कॉमन ग्राउंड ढूंढते हो और उससे तुम्हारी लाइफ किस तरीके से और उभरती है, that's up to you. So yeah, I mean both Sabika and I have been like learning and unlearning, and I've every day, like I open my Instagram, मेरे लिए like it's like okay, this is like a 15-minute session on just coming to know so much more I didn't know until now, and how do I incorporate that in my own life. So yeah, I think बहुत कुछ बोल सकते हैं हम लोग इसके बारे में, लेकिन we'll end the episode here. Thank you, Sabika. Thank you for sharing the ways that Muharram has manifested joy in your life. And thank you to everyone who's listened. And अगर आप, as Sabika always says, अगर आप हमें अभी तक फॉलो नहीं कर रहे हैं तो प्लीज़ फॉलो अस ऑन इंस्टाग्राम. हमारा हैंडल इज़ @MAINBHIMUSLIM मैं भी मुस्लिम. And we will see you on the other side of this episode. Thank you so much.